Hello and welcome back, folks. Today we're stepping into new territory for the channel because this one's a first. Our first look at a micro brand out of Denmark, and the brand in question is Henry Archer. And what a way to kick things off, because this is their latest release, the NUTID. This is an integrated bracelet sports watch that seems to have all the right ingredients to be a collector's favorite. Now, Henry Archer wasn't a brand I stumbled onto myself. It was actually introduced to me by a fellow watch collector called Tony, who can only be described as obsessed with this brand. But you know what? He was right to be this invested, because there's something special going on here, and if you give me the next 5 minutes or so, I might be able to tell you what that is. So what's the big problem, you might ask? Well, the problem is that this watch is the gateway into the world of Henry Archer watches, and I can't see how I leave with just one watch in my collection. So let's take a look at this NUTID and figure out why this brand from Denmark has managed to grab this Seiko Addict by the balls. Before we get into the dial, the case, and the bracelet, which trust me is where Henry Archer really start to hit hard on the value proposition, let's get the dimensions out the way first. The case measures in at 40 millimeters across with an 11.2 millimeter thickness, so it's sitting nice and low on the wrist, and the lug to lug, including the end links, comes in at 53.4 millimeters. That gives it a real compact feel on the wrist, and because of the integrated bracelet design, it actually wears smaller than, say, your typical 40mm dive watch. Now that we have the sizing out of the way, let's focus on the rest of the specs and talk about what you're actually getting for your money, because this is where it gets interesting. This one comes in at £596, and that's the all-in price. Postage and import duty to the UK already included. No surprises at the door, no extra charges creeping up on you afterwards. Under the hood, you've got the Miyota 9015 Premium Series Automatic, beating away at 28,800 vibrations per hour and giving you a 42-hour power reserve. Up top, there is a flat sapphire crystal with 6-layer anti-reflective coating. Henry Archer has also applied scratch-resistant coating to the case and bracelet to keep this thing looking sharp for the long haul. Water resistance comes in at 200 meters, which is genuinely impressive for a watch in this category. You also get a 2-year warranty thrown in for peace of mind. Now, before we dive into that baby blue dial, can I ask that you hit the subscribe button? Give me a follow on Instagram, the link's down below. A like on this video genuinely helps the algorithm push it out to more of you watch nerds, and your support really helps. Now let's take a much closer look at what's actually going on with this dial. The name NUTID actually translates from Danish as the present time, and that theme carries right through into the dial design. Each segment on that dial has been individually lacquered, which means every single tile catches the light in its own distinct way as you move your wrist. Pair that with the angled indices and the frame date window, and you get this clean 3-dimensional structure that seems to shift and reflect from pretty much any viewing angle. Now, I'll be honest with you, I love a good sunburst dial, but going all the way to a fully segmented sunburst like this, that gave me pause. If you've followed this channel for a while, you'll know I can be fairly conservative when it comes to dial choices, but I did promise myself I'd live a little this year, and so far I'm not regretting this purchase, because honestly, the way this dial dances in any light is something else. It genuinely puts a smile on my face every time I catch it shifting under a lamp or by a window. And it's got this quality to it that feels like it should be sitting on a watch, costing multiples of what Henry Archer are actually charging for it. The hands and the markers are crisp and precise, and the whole package just feels like it's punching well above its price bracket. And this is where the problem sits. It's going to be impossible not to dive deeper into the Henry Archer collection and part with more money. I fear this could be a Seiko level addiction for me. Moving on to the case and bracelet, and this is honestly one of my favorite aspects of this watch. The integrated bracelet design is now becoming one of my firm favorites for everyday wear, but only when it's done right, like on this NUTID. Now, in terms of finishing, the brushing and polishing here are honestly of a very high standard. The transitions between the two are placed exactly where you'd expect them to be, and there isn't a single sharp edge to be found, not on the case, not on the H-link bracelet. It's just smooth in the hand from every angle. And there's a lovely little touch on the crown too. Henry Archer have etched their logo directly into it, surrounded by this baby blue ring that ties straight back into the dial. It's a small detail, but it's an incredibly classy one, and it's the kind of thing that tells you someone actually sat down and thought about it. On the wrist, comfort's handled by a fully milled clasp with effortless on-the-fly micro-adjustment, so as your wrist changes throughout the day, getting that perfect fit takes seconds. And just like the crown, the clasp itself is another genuinely high-quality piece. Now, the watch does feature a quick-release spring bar system, which is great news if you fancy swapping straps down the line. The only thing is, I can't find any alternative straps for this watch on the Henry Archer website just yet, so that might be something still in the pipeline. And if it is, I'd love to see this on a baby blue or white rubber strap for the summer. I think it'd look absolutely beautiful. And one more thing, this watch comes with a really well-made Italian leather travel case that can hold 2 watches. Perfect for someone like me who travels for 3 to 4 days on work trips and likes to carry a few spare watches for the journey. The quality on offer here is excellent, and this case alone retails for £80 on their website. Now, let's talk about the Lume, because this is another home run for Henry Archer. Not only is the glow itself genuinely powerful, but it's this lovely shade of light blue, and it's got real performance into the night, and not just an initial burst that fades out after 20 minutes. This is all thanks to the Super Luminova X1 applied to the hands and markers. Whether in low light or the pitch black, this is where microbrands impress me the most. It's in the attention to detail on things like this where some of the bigger, more established brands are actually behind the times. And if you're a Lume junkie like me, this watch is not going to disappoint you. So, to wrap things up, this is my first Henry Archer watch, and I can tell you right now, it won't be my last. I'm honestly not sure if I should be thanking Tony for opening the door to yet another addictive brand, or holding him personally responsible for what's about to happen to my bank account. Because when you look at the designs, the variety on offer, the value for money, the specifications and the finishing, it's all just a little hard to believe, if I'm being honest with you. There has to be a catch somewhere, but I am not seeing it right now. So what about the negatives? I think the Miyota movement is perfectly fine, and it does help keep that price down, but it does come with a touch of rotor noise, and it maybe lacks a bit of the refinement that a watch like this deserves. Does it bother me though? Not really, because unless you're holding it right up to your ear, you're probably not going to notice it. And specifically for the NUTID, it would be nice to see some simpler dial options down the line. I think that could be a real pull factor for collectors who want an integrated bracelet sports watch with a less shouty look. Whilst these are hardly full-blown complaints, it's just something that circled the brain over the last few days whilst putting this review together. In summary, if this is a brand you're not familiar with and you love watches, you need to take a long, hard look at what they've got on offer. If you like the idea of flawless segments of sunburst color popping all over the place, give this watch your attention. And here's a question for those who have made it this far into the review. Have you got a Henry Archer watch? And if so, which one and what are your thoughts? Would you buy another one? Drop a comment and let me know down below. So that's a wrap for today, folks. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and find me over on Instagram. I'll leave the link below, and until next time, keep on ticking.